Hi, and welcome to my channel. So this is my channel, Books for Life, and my name is Emily. So I'm also a teacher. I teach high school English, and so I decided to bring a new segment to my BookTube channel, and I want to talk about books that should be in your classroom library. And so I thought today I would start with 5 middle grade books that are great in every classroom library, no matter if you have 6th graders or if you have 12th graders. It would appeal to all sorts of students at all of the grade levels. But these are specifically middle grade. And in fact, I'm actually in my classroom. These are my contemporary shelves behind me. And so some of these segments I will do here in my room, others I'll do at my house, and I'll try to vary what bookshelves I'm in front of so you can see some of the different titles that I have. I have over 850 books in my classroom library, and I believe that giving students access to books is one of the most important things that I can do. If the books are there, then the students are more likely to read them. I've only been at this school now for 3 weeks. I've already had kids come up to me and say that they hate going to the library and they have been taking books out of here instead. So for the books that I've picked today, they're all middle grade, as I said. I have 2 contemporaries, 1 fantasy, 1 historical fiction, and 1's a graphic novel. All right, so the first book is Flipped by Wendelin Van Raan, and this is a great middle grade story about your first love. And what's really neat is that this story takes place in 2 different perspectives. So the first is Bryce, and that's the male protagonist, and then Juliana is the female. And so it's their story, how they first met in 2nd grade, and they kind of went opposite directions, and it's been social discomfort ever since they met in 2nd grade. And so this is their tale together about their first crush and navigating that social circle in middle school and what that's like. And this is a really, really great middle grade book. A lot of my students have always really loved it, and there is actually a movie, and this has some pictures from the movie in it, so if they like it, they could check out the film as well. My next book is a historical fiction book, and this is Inside Out and Back Again, and this is a verse novel, which is always a lot of fun to read, and I love that it's just a different style. And so this is a historical fiction book, and this is about a young girl named Ha, and she was born in Saigon. And so when Saigon is bombed, her family comes to America, and she tries, I think it's Arizona, they settle down in, and she tries to forge a new life, and it's hard. And so she has to leave everything behind. And so you learn about her life in Vietnam, and then you learn about her life here in America. And it's a great novel about, just acceptance and how we should treat others, and about how war affects children. I actually read this last year in my 8th grade class, and a lot of my students did enjoy the actual story. They didn't like how long we spent on it, but it is a great historical fiction. Next is my graphic novel. There's actually 2 volumes. So this is volume 1 and then volume 2. And so this is the World Without Grown-Ups Justice League of America. And so it's your typical superhero story. So it says a world without rules, a world without the JLA, the Justice League of America, and a world without grown-ups. Robin, Superboy, and Impulse are all in a world of trouble. So these are books that get taken out of my classroom library frequently. I have a lot of kids, again, no matter the grade, taking these out. Last year I had a 10th grader who took them out, and then a 7th grader took them out the next day. They're a great addition. There is nothing inappropriate in these books whatsoever, and they're a lot of fun to read. A lot of my kids have really enjoyed them, so these are definitely a great middle grade book to have in your classroom library. All right, so this next one is called Out of My Mind. And so this is another middle grade book, and it is about an 11-year-old girl named Melody who has a photographic memory and is brilliant. She is super smart, and unfortunately, no one knows it. She cannot speak, she cannot walk, she cannot eat, she can't do anything independently, and so people just assume automatically that she is not smart and that she can't do anything, and that's not true. And so she's finally given a voice. And so again, I feel like a lot of middle grade books talk about acceptance, and I think that's what they need in middle grade. They need that, because I remember being in middle school, and those are some terrible years. People can be pretty cruel to each other. And so, this is another one just about how you should treat others who are different than you, and how Melody can finally have a voice, and how that changes some of the relationships that she has, and in good ways and maybe in some bad ways too, and how that's going to now change her entire school career from here on. And it's a great They're all great middle grade books, but it's a great story. It's heartwarming, it's touching, it's very moving, and it's a great one to have on your shelf. Okay, the last book that I have is my fantasy book, and I loved this. This is The Night Gardener, and this was one of my favorite middle grade fantasies that I've ever read, and it is so creepy. It kind of gave me nightmares, but I get nightmares like really, really easily. And so this follows these two abandoned Irish siblings, and they have decided to like kind of travel for work because they are young kids. They're in like the middle grade. I think one's like 9 and the other one's like 11 or 12. And so they end up becoming servants at this house. And at night, this weird thing keeps happening. And so they start seeing this man with this hat on, and the story goes from there. It's definitely a creepy middle grade read. It's not really scary. I got a little scared. But yeah, so they have to confront this stranger, and there's like a curse on the house that they have to try to figure out. And it's an awesome, awesome read. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to come back and keep doing different segments. Like I will have a 5 great historical fiction books, or 5 great reads for reluctant readers, or 5 great fantasy reads, or things like that. So I will definitely try to do one a month, and maybe a few more, but this is definitely something that I want to incorporate more on my channel. If there is a middle grade book that you feel should definitely be on a classroom shelf, then please let me know, and I'd love to talk to you more about that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and I'll be back with a bookish video soon. Keep reading!